What if your entire neighborhood could basically become its own power plant? Today, we're going to dig into this really revolutionary idea that puts the power grid, well, right in your backyard. And it could change how we buy, sell, and even think about electricity forever.
All right, so let's start with a really simple question. Just imagine you've got solar panels on your roof, right? Now, what if instead of just pushing all your extra power back to some big utility company, you could sell it directly to your neighbor, maybe even get a better price for you and a better price for them?
Well, that's the big idea behind something called a local energy market, or LEM. Seriously, think of it like a digital farmer's market, but for electricity. We're talking about a future where communities can generate, store, and trade their own clean energy. This means way more control for you, a boost for the local economy, and a much more resilient, sustainable power grid for everybody.
Okay, but creating this kind of local energy marketplace, it's not as simple as just connecting a few wires. It brings up a massive question.
Really think about it for a second. How do you track thousands, maybe even millions of these tiny little energy trades happening between houses every single minute? It sounds unbelievably complex, right? You would need a system that is absolutely rock-solid secure, totally transparent, and pretty much runs itself automatically.
And that, right there, brings us to the key piece of this entire puzzle. The technology that makes all of this possible is something you've definitely heard of, but probably in a totally different context: blockchain.
Now hang on. I know as soon as you hear the word blockchain, your mind probably jumps straight to cryptocurrency. But forget all that for a minute. We're talking about the underlying technology itself. At its heart, blockchain is just a super secure, shared digital ledger. It is the perfect engine to track and verify every single kilowatt of energy traded in a neighborhood, and it does it all without needing a bank or a big utility company in the middle.
So how does this actually work in practice? Well, it's actually a pretty clean four-step process. Step 1, you request to buy some energy from your neighbor. Step 2, a whole network of computers in the community instantly validates that request to make sure it's legit. Step 3, your verified transaction gets bundled up with a bunch of others into a new, secure block of data. And finally, Step 4, that block is permanently locked onto the chain, creating a tamper-proof record of the trade. The magic here is that it's all transparent, and nobody can ever go back and change it. But the secret sauce that really makes this system hum are things called smart contracts. Just think of them as the automatic rulebook for this energy market. They're basically little pieces of code that execute themselves. So, for example, the instant your neighbor's solar energy is delivered to your house, a smart contract automatically triggers the payment from your account to theirs. No middleman, no paperwork, no delays. It's a completely automated and trustworthy system.
Okay, this all sounds amazing in theory, right? But is anyone actually doing this? The answer is a huge yes. This isn't just some futuristic concept anymore. It's already being tested in the real world. So let's see how it's holding up.
Yeah. This is not science fiction. Over in India, 3 groundbreaking pilot projects have already put this exact technology to the test. We're talking about real communities with real people in real homes, trading energy with each other. And the way they were able to do this was pretty cool. It was under something called a regulatory sandbox. That's basically a fancy term for regulators saying, hey, go ahead and experiment with this new idea in a controlled way. Let's see how it works, let's learn from it, and then we'll write the new rules. It's a way to let innovation happen safely. So what happened? What were the results? Did this whole grand experiment actually work when it hit the real world? Let's dive into the data from these pilots and see for ourselves.
This chart right here tells a huge part of the story. This is data from one of the pilot projects back in June of 2021. So you can see in that first bar, the community still bought a lot of power from the main grid. But look at that second bar. They also traded over 30,000 kilowatt hours of energy directly with each other, peer-to-peer. That's almost a quarter of their total energy needs being met by their own neighbors, using clean, local power. That's incredible.
And here's the best part. It turned out to be a win-win for literally everyone involved. The big takeaways showed that the prosumers, the folks selling their extra solar power, they actually earned more money than they would have selling it back to the utility. And at the same time, the consumers who were buying that power paid less than they would have for standard grid electricity. How can you beat that? Everyone benefit.
And the projects were so successful, they got the ultimate seal of approval. The local energy commission in India officially ordered the utility company to take the project to the next phase. This is huge. This is the actual regulators looking at the results and saying, this works, we believe in it, and we want more of it. So, okay, the technology is proven. The benefits are crystal clear. What's stopping this from being in every single neighborhood?
What are the next steps to actually make this the new normal for energy?
Well, the success in India gives us a really clear roadmap for the future. You see, it's a combination of things. You absolutely need supportive regulations and clear guidelines. You've got to have the right tech, like smart meters. You have to train everyone who's involved. You need a solid technology partner, and maybe the most important ingredient of all, you need a community that's engaged and ready to cooperate.
And really, this brings us all the way back to where we started. With the technology now proven and a clear path forward, the question isn't really if this is going to happen, it's where it's going to happen next, which leaves you with one final thought to chew on. Could your neighborhood be the next clean energy community powered by you and the people you live next to?